let's kick it off by playing this video. You guys seen the high schooler that got hit upside the head. It was quite interesting.
Fucking kidding me!
¿Y qué pasó?
Se metió un nene.
I'm sure most of us said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" when we saw this shit too, because we didn't know what was going on. But before we add a little context to it, I want to go around and get immediate reactions. Some people have just seen it for the first time now, understandable. But if you have seen it or you just seen it now, what are your first thoughts? I'm gonna go with we'll go with the ladies. So whichever one of you ladies want to go first. Once, twice.
You want to
So
go in first, Amber? I can go. That was my first time seeing it. I wanted to do a genuine reaction, but what the hell? What? Why? What happened? I have no idea what happened. However, my personal thoughts on hands-on is I don't think it's. I think fighting is animalistic. So I think that is we have the ability as human beings to communicate. So animals, when you're out in the animal kingdom, they butt heads because, oh, you came in my territory, you tried to mess with my female lionesses, so you fight about it. But humans, we can communicate. So I don't think hands-on should ever be a thing. That's my immediate reaction.
okay. What about you, Miss Amber? What is your immediate reactions just off the clip alone? Because that's the clip that most people seen without any context.
So I heard about it before I saw it. And when I heard about it, I'm like, please don't let them be black. Please don't let them be black. Please don't let them be black. And then I saw the video and I'm like, here we are. Timing cannot be perfect because everybody's still dying down from the slap heard across the world. And so I'm like, here we go again with the narrative. And I'm just thinking as far as the talk. So of course I did the research and I saw the comments. So also the narrative is now further being perpetuated. And I'm like, here we go.
Okay, so it's like everybody just slapping folks. It seems okay.
What's
Uh,
the narrative? What is?
oh, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. You know, anxious, eager. It's Sunday morning. You know, people start off a little slow. Usually towards the end of the sermons when they out there running around and shouting and flipping. So that's just yeah. There you go. What's going on, Sway? What are your thoughts about it? I know you seen a little bit of it, right?
I mean, yeah, the initial one, I didn't really know the backstory on it, but I guess we got a little bit on it from Amber before the show. So, I
Don't say too
mean,
much now.
I'm
Like
not
you're
gonna
gonna
say
know just
anything.
off
I'm
that
just saying
video.
it. It was just my initial. I'm not gonna lie to you. I laughed. So I know I was supposed to be like, "Damn, what are we doing, brothers? You shouldn't be." But I laughed. You know what I mean? In my initial reaction, I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was on some world star hip hop type of situation. So obviously I laughed, and then I guess I got to the round thinking from being around this network how that just doesn't help. Whatever happened, he shouldn't have punched him, obviously. So I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody's kid, you know. So
All right.
Yeah, but my first reaction, freshly off, like Amber said, off of the previous slap, I'm like, fam, what is we on out here, dog? Like, we got a lot of anger, dog. And then I thought, I can't imagine being that, and chaotic is a runner, so I can't imagine being tired and then getting stole on. You know what I mean? Like, you ever been in a fight where you exhausted and them punches hurt more? Could you imagine you just ran like 10 laps and then somebody just steal you? Like,
I don't know why he did it during the meet. Like, why would you do it during the race? Is my
dog,
thing.
because he's that damaged. It's like he's like, dog,
He could have did it
somebody.
anytime, but he did it during the race
Yeah,
while trailing behind him. He could have just ran past him.
that's what you call getting knocked out of first place.
Yeah, literally, literally. All right.
I need the backstory. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Chaotic. What are your thoughts?
Kelly, Kelly, my dear Kelly, and salute to everybody on the panel. You don't need a backstory. This is a historical and biological happening. We have to stop playing games here. What that young man did is indicative. of everything that is wrong within our race. I taught in public schools for many years, and I can tell you, black kids are not only violent, they are overtly violent. They do nonsensical acts of stupidity. Yes, do white kids do certain things? Sure, they do. But if you take 100 black kids and 100 white kids in a room, 80% of those black kids are gonna be acting a damn fool. Unlike if you could take a white class, maybe 5 kids will be acting a fool. And then those 95 kids will shun those white kids. This is another example of how black people are in white spaces and acting a fool. Could you imagine if those white parents would have walked on that track field and beat the shit out of that black kid? All the imagine what the news would have done. Oh, these racist white parents. But no, this has been going on for hundreds of years. I'm not gonna take it where I wanted it to go because I don't want to go viral. I'm gonna be clean in Sesame Street here. But that little boy should be beat within an inch of his life by the black community. We need to correct this behavior. Now, I don't want to ball hog the panel because I have a propensity to do that. But I used to make a lot of videos on my former channel about certain types of blacks
It
to
comes that
avoid
self promotion. Go ahead, chaotic.
on my other channel. I used to make video after video. One of the particular types of blacks to avoid in public are the blacks who are dancing randomly in the shopping store, randomly in the malls, the blacks who are throwing up signs for no reason. You have to avoid these blacks because within a moment's notice, they can turn on you and become violent. And that boy, I bet he had patterns of behavior that he was displaying before that race. That any parent that thinks, let me keep my son or my daughter away from that ignorant Negro. Go ahead.
Chaotic. I'm sorry. I was
Go ahead.
with
Chaotic, like,
you
yeah,
until you said all the black parents need to beat him.
beat him within
So
an inch of
we're
his life.
so
That's where I stopped listening.
I
It
was
has to be, it
with
has to be one
you.
at a time, guys. One at a time. One at a time. Go ahead.
Hey, hold on. I want to say this first. Let's be careful with the promotion of violence in the space. So let's just make sure if we
Sure. Sure. Sorry.
suggesting that.
Oh yeah, this
So
is
yeah,
sorry. Sorry.
yeah.
But okay. So I was with you with that, and the rabbit goes deep to conditioning on being punished for good behavior. That goes back to slavery. So can you please explain your thoughts of? I understand the village needs to grab that young man,
Yeah.
right? But you said they need to beat him for what he did. But you're now talking against obviously kids being violent.
Yes, Amber. But you.
So
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
that's where you
Yeah,
lost me.
Amber. What you have to understand is this. I didn't mean it in a physical aspect. I said that the beating was symbolic. His beating should be shunned and shamed. And we need to start shaming blacks like this as a community. See, there are a lot of peaceful blacks. I know I'm one of them. I'm a very peaceful Negro. And I understand set and setting, and I understand behavior. And the thing is that blacks like that, if you don't reprimand them, eventually the punching will be a random shooting or something like that. He will do that eventually. But the black community has a problem of pulling all of us together. Oh, we're all the same. And no, we're not all the same. We're not a monolith. We have violent Negroes in our race. And this has nothing to do with slavery. This has something to do with our DNA. And I think Africans have been like this for thousands of years, just violent. We've had it
I
in
have
our.
a question.
Well,
I have
Kelly, give me a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kelly. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. And
I'm
I don't want
sorry.
you guys to think you're controlling. I wholeheartedly believe in everything that I say. It's something's wrong with us. I would say 50% of us are just overtly violent. Go ahead,
So I
Kelly.
have a question. Are you? I saw you on the show on Thursday. You
Yes,
said
you
you're
did.
married, right? You have a wife.
I have a beautiful wife. Yes.
Is she black?
She is a lovely black American. She looks Sudanese, by the way. I purposely picked her out for those particular black features.
And you have children, yes?
I do not have any children. No,
You
no, I
plan on
can't do
having
children.
children?
No,
No. Okay.
no, I don't.
So my issue with you is I agree with a lot of the things that you were saying. I don't
Thank you.
disagree. And I understand the history of Blacks culture from Africa. I understand all that. But my thing is you speak in a condescending manner about your race. It is your race.
Yes.
So instead
Yeah.
of talking down about them, why don't you
Yeah.
try teaching them, uplifting them? You talk about them. You do know like the definition of racism is to
Yes.
feel another race is superior to another. You speak about Black people as if they are inferior to Caucasians. Do
Well, here
you
goes.
know that you do that?
Kelly, can I say this real quick,
Okay,
Kelly?
and no,
Yes, I'm
if
asking
you
you.
are who you are and you believe what you say you believe, you
Yes.
should be trying to uplift Black people instead of
Yes.
constantly talking down about them. We are angry, fighting. Okay, if that's the case, then you need to develop a system to teach them how to be different because they're
Kelly,
stuck
can I ask you?
in a circle that if their parents are angry and their parents are fighting, they're going to learn that and they're going to repeat the behavior. You need to do something that's going to teach them to be different instead of talking down about them.
Kelly, can I ask you a question, please?
Feel free
I
to
was a
ask me a
teacher for
question.
many years in public schools. I used to be
Understood.
very, very pro-Black, despite the fact of what is going on in our culture. But what I've come to terms is this: in the white race, trailer trash, white trash is looked down upon in their culture. It's never uplifted because you cannot uplift people who genetically or biologically just don't have it. That little boy does not have it. You can't uplift him. It's almost an impossibility. Yes, do we have cases of Malcolm Little turning into Malcolm X? Do we have cases like that? Sure, we do. But generally speaking, large numbers of Blacks are incapable of being corrected. So
I
you
1000% disagree with you.
that's
You
fine.
become who you are based
That's
on
fine.
what you're surrounded by. If you
Yeah.
pluck someone out of their culture, out of their neighborhood, out of their environment, and you teach them something different, they can grow, they can develop it. But if you are a product of your environment. So if that's all they know, if that's all they see, that's what they're going to become. But if they are taught something different, you're telling me that they cannot change, they
No,
cannot grow, they cannot
no,
develop.
no. Let me say something real quick, Kelly. A Cambodian is just as Asian as a Japanese, but
I understand that.
Japanese people have bred for Japanese people have bred sorry Japanese people have bred for intelligence, and they have bred for intellectualism, and they have bred to be superior. Yes, could you raise a Cambodian at birth and put them inside of a Japanese city, and would they thrive? It's a possibility. But generally speaking, they are not on the same IQ level as their Asian counterpart, which is the Japanese. So if you look in the Black race, generally Nigerians are more smart than your African from Niger, your African from Angola, your African from Congo. It's a biological thing. They are literally, or I'm Nigerian. We are literally breeding for intelligence. Go ahead.
Since you get that pause, let me get a couple other people in here. Um, I'm gonna come to Hink Quail. I know you just came in. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, yeah. No, I
Okay.
got you, man. Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the show, brother. What you got for us? Yeah.
It was on me or it's on him?
No, I was just coming to you. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh no. So I'm thinking that I just had this conversation, and I think the biggest thing the problem is that we lack critical thinking. I can remember being in school and wondering why do we get these critical thinking questions in school, and I wonder when I was going to use it, but we apply it every day. So being able to decide when to do something and when not to do something is critical thinking. And I think that's really what we really lack, because it's just like you would decide when to be violent and when not to. Because I mean, violence is necessary sometimes, and there's other times where it's not. So it's all about having discernment of when to do something and when not to do it. And that's what we're dealing with in society now. It's just learning when and how to do things, and then what time to do it, what place to do it. And I don't think it's a race problem. It's just a decision-making problem.
Okay. That's a good point. Sway or Hink, whichever one you guys want to go.
Sway, you go ahead, big brother. Go ahead, do your thing.
What am I going ahead on? Am I talking about what Chaotic just said or the topic? Because I thought I already said what the
Man,
topic
I ain't.
was.
Shit.
You know what you did? You did say my bad. My bad. Go
Listen,
ahead,
it's
Hink.
too much about what he just said. Jesus.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna unpack him. I'm gonna talk about this sucker punching on the track. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I
So
don't.
the thing was we didn't add the context to it, right? We just wanted
Okay.
just first reactions off the video. I know Chaotic and Quail came in and they added some much needed spice to the conversation. We're definitely gonna talk about that. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some things that unfold um, that pertains to this story as well as everything else surrounding it. So I welcome it all. Even if we veer off a little bit, I still think it's great. It's great dialogue to happen. Um, let's stay on track as much as possible. But if we do, and the conversation carries somewhere else, then it is warranted as long as it's surrounding what's going on here. So go ahead, brother Hink.
Well, first, I want to apologize for my tardiness to the members of the panel and you, JR. So, but I don't know. I mean, I will hope they suspend the kid from his school as well as the team. I think the whole team should suffer. I know it's not the whole team's fault, but hey, y'all a team, so y'all all need to suffer together. So hopefully they suspend it maybe for the rest of the season. But unfortunately, it's not surprising this stuff like it happens. I remember seeing a video of somebody in the line. They was going through the line. They were shaking hands like the end of the game. A guy just sucker punched a guy in the stomach after a basketball game. Now, chaos. It wasn't. It was a white boy. I don't know if that's going to hurt your feelings, but yeah. But just seeing that happen, it's just crazy, man. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I think my first reaction was like, damn, like doing a race. And I was sitting there thinking, is he going to, if he wins the race, um, are they going to give it to him and say it was a fair shot? Like, does that take away from everybody else in the race? Did he react off emotion? I wanted to know a little bit more of the backstory. Like, how did this come about? Did he just flip out? It was just so many things that were just going on in my head. But that emotion piece seems to be a very important part of it. I mean,
Well,
even if, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Miss
Well,
Amber.
this is the quick backstory I was able to research. I know some people feel like the backstory doesn't matter, but this is just what I found out. Anybody who's done track and field, I have, when you're on the track or on the field, it's just chaos because you not only seeing the race, but in the middle of the field, you have the long jump shot put. So, from my understanding, the young black athlete got in the way of the white athlete first time, and the white athlete, yelled at him like, "Get out the way." I guess the second time the black athlete got in his way, the white kid pushed him. So I guess that's where the initial sucker punch came from when I guess he felt like he had the opportunity to get him back because of those two previous incidents. So that's from what I heard watching a couple videos.